Intanto gli altri arriveranno. Desidero presentarvi il professor Dietmar Heimes, è un esperto di biorisonanza. Adesso cominciamo a parlare di frequenze, ok? Lui è anche il manager, il big boss di un'azienda che si è data la pena di costruire delle macchine che veicolino queste frequenze curative che trovate giù ovviamente in San Sponsor, ma soprattutto lui è una persona che insegna in tutto il mondo e lui segue l'erede degli insegnamenti di biorisonanza di Paul Schmidt, quindi una filosofia, un modo, un metodo di studio molto specifico relativo alla biorisonanza. Cedo la parola al professor Heimes, che parlerà in inglese. Non lo sentirete in inglese perché poi andrà in cabina, voi sentirete in italiano, ok? Chi invece ha le cuffiette sentirete. Buon pomeriggio.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Mudukno. Ladies and gentlemen, it is really a very, very great pleasure to be here and share with you. Oh, is this possible? It's okay? Is the microphone okay? No? Is it working?
Per favore silenzio, siate cortesi.
Yeah.
Be silent, please. Please, Dietmar, go
Okay,
on.
yeah. Okay. Now the microphone is fine? You can hear me? No? No? Okay, please check again. No, it's fine? Okay, great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very welcome here on the first lecture of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. This is personally for me a very, very great pleasure to be here and to share with you the knowledge about the last 21 years in the field of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. At first, a very, very short overview about the actual situation of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt today. And bioresonance means this is a very, very extraordinary system. This is a future-orientated system, and therefore we want to present this system in a same very extraordinary way. And that's the reason that the building which includes the bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, the developments and the research and the clinics and so on, is located in pyramids. Yeah? We are definitely not in Egypt. Yeah? We are in Germany, and our company buildings are made in pyramids. In these buildings we have, for example, the development and production center. We have located the therapy center for the local patients, but also for practitioners, so that they can join us and learn how to use bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. We have here, for example, the Paul Schmidt Academy, where we are teaching daily worldwide practitioners, medical doctors, and so on. We are located in 42 different countries, and it is for me a very, very great pleasure to say at this point that especially Italy is growing so fast in using these bioresonance technologies. So thank you so much for organizing that, yeah? Especially from UBio. No, we have at the moment in Germany, only to have a short overview, around 60,000 users. We have more than 5,700 medical doctors who's using this system, and daily around 35,000 patients worldwide. We have extensive quality management systems and so on to really to establish more and more a medical system here in a worldwide usage. No, but after that, I want to come over to a short presentation about quantum physics and quantum medicine. And you know that in the Middle Age, nearly everybody thought that each matter, it means like wood or metal or concrete, is really solid and at the final end indivisible. Then in 1915, the Bohr and Sommerfeld, very well scientists, worked out that there must be a system, a structure with smaller parts, and the atomic model was born. Atom means, from Greek, this is chemically irreducible and therefore very, very small. Now, I want to do with you now here a little mind game. Yeah, you know, this is here the smallest atom we have. It is a hydrogen atom. We have one proton in the center and one electron around. Yeah, and you know that between the proton and the electron here is a distance. Yeah, but now we are thinking that this distance is not there, so that we have this situation, that the delta is 0. Yeah? And that means when we have this system here, everything in our world is 10,000 times smaller. I'm 1.9 meter high, and with this system, I'm exactly 0.19 millimeter. Yeah? Yeah? But with the same weight. Yeah. Everything is by the factor of 10,000 times smaller. Yeah. For example, our planet has only a diameter of 4 kilometers. Yeah. And this shows to us that we are only possible to see the shapes. We have not a view inside, yeah, how it looks inside, only the shape, and therefore we can see our world only in a scale. And the crucial question is now, if the world, including our organism, is existing from electrons, protons, neutrons, and so on. It means these are the smallest parts at the moment from our thinking, from the scientific point of view. Then the cellular structure, it means the molecules, the cellular structure, the tissues, the organs, and the organism is existing exactly of that. What is exactly then the question behind? What is at the final end a proton, a neutron, or an electron? Because this is a very, very interesting question to come over to the next stage of understanding our world and understanding the next step of quantum medicine. Yeah? And quantum physics shows to us that elementary particle can exist as a so-called, as a corpuscle, yeah, as a particle, or as a wave. And this is a very, very important knowledge, what we can see here. Because at the final end, Heisenberg and Louis Victor de Broglie showed that all matter has a wave-like character and, in addition, a spin. A spin means a rotation. Yeah? You can find this rotation in the smallest parts up to the biggest parts of the universe, our Milky Way, which is in a big, big rotation. This makes it clear. Our world and we, at the final end, are existing in the smallest parts here from frequencies. And our actual scientific point of view in that means that we are talking in the molecular structure. But above the molecular structure is another structure, and this is the energetic structure. Energetic structure means that this is related to frequencies. With this idea, we can explain so many different things. For example, when you are working out why homeopathy is working, yeah? Beyond C12 is no molecule inside this remedy. How can that work? Yeah? And at the final end, it can work because not the physical structure, the molecule, the atoms are working. At the final end, the frequencies are working. Yeah? In the same way, Hippocrates wrote that your food should be your medicine and your medicine should be your food. And this is totally right, because when you are eating food, what is food at the final end? At the final end is energy. Yeah? And our scientific world is now on the way to understand more and more that above the molecular structure is another structure, the energetic structure. And they are now finding more and more relationships so that it is easier to establish. When I remember 20 years ago when I started with this research, wow, the scientific world was totally against these things. And meanwhile, we have 10,000, 100,000 of users, and this system is growing up very, very well. Yeah? Okay, we are talking about frequencies. We are talking about the situation to stimulate with frequencies the body. Yeah? How can we explain easiest the question from patients who are asking you, okay, you are a practitioner, you are using bioresonance, please explain to me how bioresonance works. Yeah? And when you will get this question, please answer that as with an example from nature. Yeah? An example from nature means please choose the sunlight. Yeah? When sunlight is touching our skin, yeah, everybody, and especially the patient who is asking, knows that your skin gets colored. Yeah? What is the reason that your skin gets colored in the sunlight? Yeah? Is it the reason? Is it the heating of the sun? No, because otherwise we will get brown in the sauna. Yeah? Yeah? This will not work. Yeah? There must be another initial impulse which says to the skin, please produce pigments, please produce melatonin, please produce vitamin D. Yeah? And at the final end, it is the ultraviolet light inside the sunlight which is stimulating these regulatory mechanisms to produce vitamin D and melatonin and so on. Yeah? And therefore, this is a fantastic idea to explain bioresonance, because ultraviolet light is nothing more than a frequency. Yeah? And therefore, the sunlight is the oldest kind of bioresonance we know. Yeah? And when we have on this side here a bioresonance machine, this machine produces frequencies in different ranges. Not only like the sunlight, which only a frequency spectra, No. A bioresonance machine produces different frequencies so that we can stimulate different parts in the body. Yeah? And we are giving frequencies with this device to the body and want to resonate there and stimulate the regulatory mechanisms. Yeah? And there is a possibility to show that very easily and to visualize that here directly. You know, you can explain that with two tuning forks. You know, this is a tuning fork, yeah? Yeah? It means this is a tuning fork on a very special frequency. Yeah? You can hear that? Yeah? Okay. It means I can... It's not okay? Ah, you want... Oh, clever. Okay. Yeah, good idea. It means I can stimulate here now this tone. Yeah, and stop. Okay? When I have now another tuning fork, yeah, which is exactly the same than the first one, yeah, I can place here. I can touch here. Yeah? You understand what I mean? It means I'm stimulating the tuning fork here, stopping, but hearing the tone here. Yeah? Because these tuning forks are working on the same frequency, we can stimulate with that this one. Yeah? And this is a very easy way to show how bioresonance works. One moment. Yeah? For example, this is the bioresonance machine with a frequency, and this is the body. Yeah? And we want to stimulate, like the sunlight, a frequency, and to stimulate the regulatory mechanisms. What happened now when I change this tuning fork with a smaller tuning fork? You can see. Yeah? It means this tuning fork is working on a different frequency. Yeah? Now I can hit here this tuning fork. Stop. Nothing. Yeah? It means this frequency is not able to stimulate this tuning fork. Yeah? And thank you so much for your assistance. But this is a very, very huge and very important example, because you can visualize with that why bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, is so helpful. And at the final end, without side effects. Yeah? When you are using a frequency which is not needed in the body for a stimulation, what happened at the final end? Nothing. Okay, you have no treatment, but you have at the final end no side effects. And there is a very interesting point to show that really bioresonance has nearly no side effects. Because bioresonance and the bioresonance machines are medical products class 2A. And that means there is a European register, and each thing what happened, complaints, problems, and so on, must be collected in these kind of register, so that everybody, a medical doctor, practitioners, hospitals, can look into this register and see, there I have to look to these and these points. But after 30 years of usage and 100,000 users, yeah, this register is free. And this here explains why. Because when we are using wrong frequencies, we have no treatment, okay, but there's no side effect. And this is fantastic, because we can treat with this system pregnant women, we can treat 2 days or 2 days old babies, children, elderly people, pacemaker clients, and so on. And by the way, we can help, for example, earlier when we are treating couples who can't get babies, and we are treating with this cause-orientated therapy approach of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. And meanwhile, we have thousands of so-called bioresonance babies, yeah? Because then the couples are able to get babies. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper into the thinking. Okay, we are changing the player. Thank you. Okay, we are talking about the biological window in BAPS. Biological window in BAPS means that there must be parameters which must be there so that you have an access to the organism, and that this access is really stimulating parts of tissues and organs and so on. And we have 5 of these conditions here. It is frequency, the intensity of the frequency, how long time, the shape of the frequency, and the so-called polarity. This seems at the moment a little bit complicated, but at the final end, I want to show that we are developing with really difficult things, but at the final end, so that the usage is very easy. At first, it is very important to have the right frequency. Yeah? Like the sunlight. When we have a different frequency spectra than the sunlight, we cannot produce or stimulate the vitamin D. We must have the right frequency. And this is the result, especially of the research of the last 30 years in Germany at Rionex, to find out the frequency spectra with which we can stimulate the different parts of the body. And we have this frequency now available for the human body, for cats, for horses, and for dogs, yeah, so that we can treat their own too. Yeah, I said to you, the biological window, it is really very easy to explain from the frequency point with the sunlight. The next thing is, which is important, this is the intensity. It means when we have a very strong intensity, this can have a very special effect to the body, or when we have a very small intensity. Yeah? Another point is the time. For example, when you are working in the sunlight for 10 minutes, this is fine. But when you are when you have such a strong intensity and such a too long time, you can get a sunburn. Yeah, this is therefore the bioresonance machines are adjusted in a way that you can't make mistakes during the usage. This is very important, and this is really a very, very interesting chart, because this explains why frequencies can be helpful and harmful. When you are talking with scientists about bioresonance, they said, please explain to me why are the frequencies from your bioresonance machines are helpful, and frequencies, for example, from impulse modulation are harmful. There's no explanation behind, but this explains it exactly. And the same frequency can be helpful when it comes to the body in a sinus waveform, but the same frequency is harmful when we have, for example, here a rectangular waveform. Yeah, a triangular waveform, for example, gives stress the body totally. Yeah, and I can show to you this picture also, that good frequency, bad frequency. When we have sinus waveforms, we can give a healing impulse to the body, like coming from an illness to health. But when we are, for example, checking chicken here, under the influence of the same frequency in a rectangular waveform, therefore we have, for example, more mutations, more stillbirth of these chickens, and so on. Yeah? And that is the reason that in the bioresonance machines you can only fix, for example, the frequency, the time, and the polarization, but not parameters with which you can damage or harm at the final end the body. This is very, very important for the usage. Now, another point, and this is worked out from Max Planck, from Heisenberg, and from Louis Victor de Broglie also, that you must have the right spin. Yeah, the spin means that we have a special rotation of this frequency spectra, and this is possible to adapt that with the bioresonance machines also. Now I want to come over a little bit deeper into the usage and then produce and show to you a few scientific researches. That means the bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, is a system which is a cause-orientated system. Cause-orientated means that we are not symptom-orientated, that we want to find out what is the reason behind this illness. Because when we can find the reason, we can reduce the influence, then it is easy to find solutions which are really sustainable. Yeah? And that is the reason that we are checking with BAPS at first the behavior of the body, so that we can find out which parts of the body are harmed. For example, are there problems with the energy in the body? Yeah? For example, with ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Yeah? Are there deficiencies in the pH balance? Do you have problems with the intestinal flora? Very, very important. Is it necessary to make a detoxification because in the body are too much heavy metals, toxic substances, and so on? Is there a problem with electrosmog? Yeah? Yeah? So many things are related to diseases. For example, when you want to treat a migraine or hormonal imbalances, and you are not checking electrosmog, you can treat and treat and treat, but at the final end, when you not reduce these influences, you have not a sustainable solution. Yeah? And therefore, it is important to check all these influences, find a way to reduce that, and then start in the third point with the bioresonance treatment. I think this is at the final end the reason why bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, is so successful, because we are not symptom-orientated. We are not checking, for example, there is a problem with a mycosis, yeah, like a runner's food, yeah, and we are using here directly a treatment against this fungus, yeah. It means we are asking ourselves, what is the reason that this body has more and more problems with this fungus? And because there must be an environment, otherwise the fungus cannot be there. And when we are changing the environment, then we have a sustainable solution. This is part of the thinking of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. Therefore, we are testing with the frequency spectra the body to find out where are really the problems, reducing that, and then start, parallel to that, the bioresonance therapy with the devices. Now, how to find out now these resonance frequencies? Yeah, we have so many different possibilities in this here available to check which frequency is really needed from the body to stimulate a regulatory mechanism. It means you can give with a device a frequency to the body, and you have to check that this frequency is needed or not. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that with kinesiologic effects. You can do that with radiesthesia. You can do that with EAV and so on. But when you really want to establish in this world a system with which you can, a hospital or a medical doctor can work directly, it is really hard to present a measuring system which is not proven, yes, and you cannot proven with a non-proven diagnostic system a therapeutic system. This is not possible. Therefore, we need a system which works in an automatic way and which is not based on a data bank, for example. Like we can see very often, I said this is mostly diagnosed entertainment. This is exactly what we want to do. We want to really measure which frequencies are needed in the body. And we developed in the last 7-8 years a system based on an electrocardiogram, an ECG system, so that the bioresonance machine can measure with the pads here on the breast the rhythm of the heart with this PQR-SDU system. And when we are giving a frequency to the body, we are checking these heart rate and the quality of this heart rate and compare it with others and to work out with that this is a resonance frequencies or not. Because when there is a resonance frequency, the body has to work, and you can see this directly in the measurements. Yeah. For example, when you are measuring the body and you are giving to this patient ice cubes in the hands, you can see this directly in the quality in the rhythm of the heart. Yeah, and it means this impulse is for the body strong, and he has to react. Yeah. In the same way, you can show to the patient, for example, a picture with a big spider, and say shock, and you can see this directly in the rhythm of the heart. We want not to shock the body and the patient. We want to giving him frequencies with the bioresonance device, so that at the final end we can find out which frequency touch the body. And when we are giving frequency by frequency by frequency, and we are checking parallel the data from the ECG, and after that we are calculating under which influence, under which frequency the body has the strongest reactions, then we are producing a so-called energetic fingerprint. Yeah? Energetic fingerprint means that we are collecting and calculating and measuring exactly the frequencies this patient needs at the moment for his own regulation. Yeah? This is pure individual, no data bank behind. This is pure measurement, and then we are connecting this radioscan measurement with the treatments and with a cause-orientated structure, and at the final end we have an automatic system for measurement, for analyzing these frequencies, because in these frequencies are the ideas for the diagnosis also, and we can work out with that the analysis and the treatment also. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can see this. What we are calculating here is the area, especially the area under this curve, and this area is changing when there is an impulse which is strong to the body. I was a little bit disappointed because we checked the HRV also, but the HRV measurement was too slow and not in a way to work really in a dynamic system for the body. It means it works setting a stimulus, a fundamental frequency, measuring, calculation, of the area and defining the frequency as a resonance frequency. And you can see here, this is like a result. You can't see changings in these heart rates with your eyes, but when you calculate the area under that, you can see, wow, this frequency was really very strong and is needed in the body for a resonance and for a treatment. Now, with this system, we made so much studies, and especially cell biological studies. Yeah? And this is very important to show that the system is working. And we have in Germany very well-known research centers like Fraunhofer Institute, Max Planck Institute, Dutch Scientific Center, and so on. And we showed here with our bioresonance system, which is here, like in a sandwich between here these cell structures here, because we want to see is there an influence here to this cellular system in the lab. And with this system you can show that it is unbelievable and totally reproducible that you are able to stimulate and increase the cell activity up to 45% in 24 hours. This is a giant success and a giant result, because when you are able to increase the cell metabolism, then you are definitely faster in each curing system, in each healing procedure. But in the same way, we worked out that under the influence of these frequencies, we are able to push the wound healing. This is not in vivo, this is in vitro. We have in vivo really enough results and studies, but the in vitro results in the lab are really very, very interesting, because this is definitely not under the influence of placebo effects. Yeah, and in the lab you will grow up a tissue, yeah, and then you take off a defined strip, yeah, and then under the influence or not under the influence, you can see that this wound is healing faster or not. And under the influence of bioresonance, or according to Paul Schmidt, the wound healing is up to 20% quicker. Yeah. We prepared for that during the measurements. We made hundreds of measurements in these cell biological studies, and then we used a very special system to take each minute a picture and to show what happens in 24 hours. And this video shows that. Yeah. Yeah. This is under the influence of that, and you can see on the left side, this is without bioresonance. This is with bioresonance. Yeah. And under the influence of bioresonance, you can see is much faster. Yeah. Much faster, and the wound healing and the cell metabolism is stronger. Yeah. Yeah. So that it is really a fantastic effect under the influence of bioresonance. Yeah? Okay. When you are interested in that, all these things are published, and you can work it out. And you can see that in the internet. You can click here on that site, and this is available also, I think, on the stand also. Now, a very interesting point of bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, is also that we can use the system as a development platform. Yeah. Please note, when we have this system available, and we can check that there is a positive or negative influence, for example, to the liver or to the lung, yeah, or to the pancreas, to the heart, to the brain, and so on, we can use this system to find out optimized preparations. And this is a very interesting effect. More and more companies are using that for their own development system, because then you are able to develop a preparation not only from the chemical point of view, you can develop it also under the influence of the energetic way. And this is a big difference. And mostly there is a total surprise behind. Yeah. For example, we developed a special preparation for balancing the pH value. Yeah. At the final end, when we checked that, we found, very interesting. The taste of this depends on the metabolism of the body. It means we can have a taste that is bitter, salty, like bad eggs, yeah, fishy, and so on. And when you are really developing this preparation under the influence of bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, for example, you can find out exactly, okay, this preparation is working, is not working on a pH value of 8.5, not working on 8.7, 8.9, 9.3. 9.3, the organ is reacting with this bioresonance system, and you can see this is exactly the right pH value for using this preparation in the body. And after that, you have mostly then the surprise. We have here a few possibilities. For example, cleaning the connective tissue matrix, very important. This is kind of detoxification, and a very important part of the cause-orientated approach of bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt. Yeah? Mobilize and neutralize deposits, elimination of the released waste products through the skin, stabilization of the metabolism, restoration of the intestinal flora. Yeah? In addition, a balanced and vital diet and so on is very, very important also. Yeah? And I want to show to you only a few very interesting things. Especially when we are working worldwide with bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, we are checking every time the pH value and especially the over-acidity of the body, because this is, meanwhile, a very huge problem, and it is related to so many other problems in the future. I want only to talk in a small word about the Warburg hypothesis, for example, with the relationship between the environment, yes, an acid environment, and the growth of tumor cells, and a more alkaline tissue and environment, and so that the tumor cell growth is not possible. And we developed with bioresonance, with quantum physics, with quantum medicine, exactly this kind of preparation. And this here is a very special possibility to bring out in 60 minutes a strong and a huge volume of acids from the body. And you can measure that. You can measure that also. Yeah? It means when you are using it in a bath and you are using this very special bath salt developed with BAPS, you can start in a pH value, for example, of 8.9. And after a while, we are measuring after 10 minutes, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, the pH value of the bath water. And you can see this is the pH value of the bath water. And after 60 minutes, you have only a pH value of 8.57 or so. Yeah? That means that the difference from 8.57 to 8.9, yes, comes out of the body into the bath water. This is tremendous. Yeah? And you can show and measure by yourself that this de-acidification is really working. Yeah? This is fantastic, with all the possibilities and positive advantages for the upcoming healing. Yeah? In the same way, for example, the effect of detoxification. And with bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, we developed exactly preparations for the extracellular matrix, how to bring out toxic materials, heavy metals in the best way out of the body. And this shows in a fantastic way how effective this system can work. Everything developed with quantum medicine. It's fantastic. And you can see that in the beginning, you have a high number of heavy metals like mercury, for example, in the blood and a low value in the urine. Taking 3 months, this preparation, you have exactly the opposite. Yeah? You have low volumes and quantities in the blood and a high quantity of this in the urine. That means it comes out of the blood, out of the body, into the urine and out of the body. Yeah, this is really a tremendous situation. Yeah, and these are only 2 parts of measurements of blood values and so on, to visualize in hard facts that the system is really working. Yeah. And in this very, very strong number of studies, case reports, and so on, we have, I want to present only one here, because this was made last year in Italy, in Bergamo. Yeah? Yeah? And this was the idea to treat patients with Alzheimer's disease. Yeah? Yeah. Exactly like mentioned before, testing with BAPS, course orientation, therapy. This was the way how this study in Bergamo with 10 people works. All participants were over 80 years old. Especially to treat Alzheimer patient is hard, because mostly the people can be very aggressive, they cannot move, they cannot live a normal life, and therefore we tried out with this case study how is at the final end, after a while of treatment, the behavior, and therefore under the influence, yes, of BAPS and the research of psychologists and the nurses and so on, they wrote exactly each day how was the treatment and how that it works. And after a while of this treatment, it means we are really supplying with bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. For that, we have mobile devices available, so that it is not necessary to come to bring these patients permanently to a clinic, so that they can use it in a mobile way at home or here directly in this treatment center. After the treatment, and this was really a very, very nice result, the people and the elderly people were less apathetic. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, for example, to see that people with Alzheimer can't open before a bottle. It's not possible. Yeah, and after that, they were, for example, more active. They showed that they are really able to live a little bit more and in a better way the life. Yeah, they have a reduced. They had after the treatments a reduced need for sleep, and especially, and this was very important, the patients show a more friendly and attentive behavior, and that is exactly the point. In the same way, to show less aggressions, yeah, and a reacquired coordination skills. Yeah, I said to you that it is not possible to open, for example, the. Haben Sie ein Foto gemacht? Haben Sie ein Foto gemacht? Foto? What? Okay. For example, to use then in normal life more activities, and so that we are coming over more and more to a normal life again. And one patient in this small treatment period was so strong from the effect that he was able to leave the nursing home completely and go home. Yes, so that this is really a very, very nice situation. Yeah, we have many reports about the usage, about the results. We have, for example, in the internet reports you can read from hundreds of practitioners and medical doctors who are using that system. And from my point of view, it is really a big pleasure to have a system to find out exactly the resonance frequencies, yeah, without pain, without an invasive system, yes, taking blood also, calculating, measuring the right resonance frequencies, using that for analyzing, finding out the causes I showed you here, reducing with solutions that, and treating the body, for example, the organism, the patient, in the clinic, in the hospital, or at home, in a home therapy, and finding out a solution. And that, starting with babies, for children, for pregnant women, for elderly people, and this is a very, very great chance, and therefore I'm really happy that meanwhile the system is so strong that all the other influences in the world can't stop it, because the mass of users are too strong meanwhile. And this is exactly what I wanted to show to you, yes, in this very, very short lecture. I get a sign, and therefore I'm just in time, yes. And I hope you enjoyed a little bit this introduction in bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, and hope to see you a little bit later, for example, in a discussion or so. And I want to say thank you so much for your attention, and have a nice day.
Grazie mille al professor Heimes, che potete incontrare per tutto il pomeriggio, lui si ferma anche stasera.